this is a bit of a different thing for us. I mean, again, honestly, there should be another word that I could use instead of sorry. So, today is Sunday. Sunday I haven't got a clue. Day after Yarnfolk. Yarnfolk was on the 5th. So today is the 6th. And I was sitting down to write up some of the information about the great day I had yesterday at Yarnfolk. And I'd spoken to a couple of my friends. I've been texting a couple of my friends, and they're like, can't wait to hear about it. And I was like, and I'm writing this thing for Olann, and then I'll probably do a little bit more about it on my blog as well. So I was like, do you know what? It's probably just a bit easier if I do a vlog, like a video, I don't know, a chat. If I chat to everyone via this, it will be a bit easier. So the setting is different to the normal setting, and my partner in crime isn't with me again, but she wasn't with me yesterday, so she can't tell you about it because she wasn't with me. So I'm actually in my office, and this corner is kind of tidy, sort of, and this is just a representation of some of the stuff that I have to do with this wonderful craft that we're all obsessed by. If you could see the rest of my office, I share my office with my youngest son, and so this bit that you can't see kind of over here to the right is all of my son's Kai's computer equipment and Xbox, and he has a recliner because it's what every teenager needs that games heavily. They need their own recliner. And then kind of starting here and going around the rest of this wall, the rest of the back wall, the side wall, and then over that side of the room is all mine, and mostly yarn related. So all of these are just some of the books and patterns that I have. But hey, it's been my business for 10 years before we did the magazine, and 2 years of doing the magazine. So, you know, it's fair enough. These folders all have single patterns in them, and these are sewing patterns, and down here is loads more, and there's a loom here, and from here I can also see one spinning wheel. So, yeah, just a few things. But I digress. So I wanted to talk to you about Yarnfolk because it was really, really good. It was such a good day. So what I thought I would do is, because I didn't take any video footage, because I'm always a little bit nervous about showing people video footage. Sorry, I'm glaring a little bit off of my glasses, which I pay for that anti-glare coating. So yeah, so I don't like taking video because, first and foremost, I don't know, people might not want to be on a video, and you're bound to catch somebody. I'm bound to catch somebody. I'm short, so effectively, in case you didn't know, I'm short. So effectively, I'm going to be holding my phone up, and I'm going to be videoing, and I'm going to get somebody. It's not like I'm tall and I can just kind of cast it over. So I did think about it, and I did even think about doing like a live Instagram thingy, whatever they are. I haven't done that before, so that would have been quite weird. But I did think about doing that, and then there was no internet. The internet was kind of bad for me, probably just because it was probably my signal more than anything. I just couldn't get a decent signal, and I didn't have the Wi-Fi password. So I took loads and loads and loads and loads of photos, and my initial thought was to put them in a blog, or maybe two blog posts. But as I say, when I went to start to write up the blog post, I was like, this is ridiculous. So I kind of thought what I'd do is I'll give you a brief introduction if it works, and then I will upload all of the photos, which I hope doesn't make anyone dizzy. I don't know. And then I'll try and give you a bit of a voiceover. Get me, I'm being technical. Try and give you a bit of a voiceover to the photos, and then at the end of this, I will show you some of my purchases, which I didn't purchase that much. There's a good reason for that. So there's several good reasons for that. The first reason is I actually have tons. The second reason was, as I said in the last podcast, I had yarn coming, which was just basic Aran for a project. And the third reason was I was slightly overwhelmed and couldn't think of anything that I had to have. and also I've knitted with most of these lovely yarns up there already, so they may be in my stash already. So yeah, but my stash is pretty extensive. Yeah, when people say they could open up a wool shop, you have to remember that I did own a wool shop. So as well as my personal stash, I have quite a lot of yarn from the wool shop, which I couldn't bear to part with at the time. But realistically, like, even if I lived 3 times my life expectancy, I'm never going to get with it all. So it might be time to kind of start getting rid of it. And I'm seriously contemplating setting up my own Ravelry D-stash page, or maybe flogging some of it on eBay or something. But so let's start about the festival. So this is dedication to the cause. Trust me, dedication to the cause. So the Yarnfolk Festival of Wool, for those that you don't know, it's the first festival of its kind in Ireland. It's the first independent yarn festival of its kind in the whole of Ireland. Deirdre and I have spent, even before we did the magazine, we'd looked into doing a festival while I was still in the shop. And I went to lots and lots of meetings with different people, and I checked out venues. And to cut a very long story short, there's not much funding to avail, much funding to help you, to assist you setting up something like that here, for whatever reason. And I just kept hitting different brick walls. I was struggling with a venue, and to be honest, I haven't completely given up on the idea, and I actually, it's something I would really like to do. So I can appreciate the amount of work that's gone into it. The organisers, so that was Louise from Lighthouse Yarns, and Terry, and Terry Carroll was kind of assisting. Terry from Fine Fish Yarns, who I know most of you probably know by now because she has her own podcast and stuff. So so they were the 2 organisers, and hats off. I mean, Louise, she did a wonderful job, absolutely wonderful. So the festival took place in Whitehead in County Antrim, which for those of you that know is right up the other end of the country, in comparison to where I am in Lismore in County Waterford. So yeah, I got up in the wee small hours yesterday morning, and kind of got my face on, tried to make myself look decent. I packed a few things in the car the night before, you know, the usual things, change of clothes. Thank God I did, I'll explain that in a minute. Change of clothes. I'd like left out things so that I could take a flask of hot water with me to try and have a cup of tea, and you know, all of those kind of things. So I packed the car, put loads of loud CDs, lots of CDs with loud music on them so that I could listen to them going up and coming back, because I didn't want to, I normally listen to audiobooks quite a lot, and I didn't want to listen to them because if I was listening to an audiobook, my phone would be running down, my battery on my phone would be running down, and I wanted to make sure I had lots and lots of battery on my phone to take lots and lots of photos. So headed up, and I think it's I'm trying to think, I wrote down, so the journey, the round journey, so there and back for me, was 829 kilometres. So to be precise, it was 828.7 kilometres. So yes, so I'm a little bone weary today. I wouldn't say I'm tired, but I'm conscious that I was sitting up in the car for quite a long time driving, singing at the top of my voice, hence the croakiness. That could also be to saying hello to lots of people, but I was singing very loudly at the top of my voice. And coming home, I put a post on Instagram about how I was going to eat my dinner, my exotic dinner of cornflakes, because I was too tired to eat anything. And I babbled on about being able to pee, drink lots of tea and pee. And that's because as I was driving home, I was like, oh my God, there was just nowhere to stop. Like, yeah. Service stations, people. Yeah. A service station is like a grass verge here at the edge of the motorway, and the grass verge might have 3 bins along it, and cars pull in, men get out of it, predominantly men. If I'm honest, I've never seen a woman do this. Men get out of the car, they pee, very often they're peeing, or maybe they're walking their dog and letting their dog pee. But I'm a woman, and well, it's not so easy to just get out of a car and pee. Maybe I should be a bit more brazen at my age and just pull down my drawers and go for it. But yeah, it's a whole different conversation. yeah, I'm definitely living in a patriarchal country. If those verges, I can't see why those verges are there except for men to pee, really. Most people don't stop. I mean, you might stop if you need a quick doze, but even with my flask of hot water to make tea, if I'd have stopped, I'd have needed a pee. So yeah, you have to pull off the motorway. For those of you that don't know, you have to pull off the motorway and go to a garage to pee, if you're a girl. Or you have to be brazen and just do it at the side of the road. I don't know. I suppose I could have done. No one's going to know me driving down the road. Although, no, my luck, yeah, it would be someone I know. So, whole different story. So, yeah, so I drove 829 kilometres round trip yesterday. So, I'm a little bone weary. So, the festival was in Whitehead. My first time being to Northern Ireland. I've been wanting to go for quite a long time for lots of geeky reasons. And I was actually blown away with how gorgeous that part of the country is. I wish I'd had more time, and I will be going back. It was just a beautiful part of the country, absolutely gorgeous. Whitehead itself, yeah, perfect little place. I can't recommend it highly enough. A few issues there with parking, but hey, I managed to shove the car in somewhere. Sorry if I took someone's spot. I got back and there wasn't a note on it anyway, so it's a good thing. So yeah, so when I got up there, first things first, tea. You got to do tea. So well, yeah, tea and then pee, yeah. So first things first, went and had a cup of tea. So I went to the Bank House, which is where Lighthouse Yarns is anyway. And there's also a cafe and a craft shop there. So I went there and I got a cup of tea, croissant, sat and just kind of made myself some notes, and went and got some sterling because I hadn't done that, because normal people go and do that the day before and I'd forgotten. So I went to the ATM as soon as I got there, which was just as well because the ATMs weren't ready for the onslaught of Fibre folk, and the ATMs ran out eventually. So got some cash, and then I went over to the community centre. So there was 4 venues for it. So there was, I'm just going to read my notes because it's easier. So there was the Whitehead Community Centre, there was the Methodist Church, the St Patrick's Parochial Hall, I hope I've said that right, and then Lighthouse Yarns, of course, which is Louise's shop. So I went over to the community centre, and it was jam-packed. It's absolutely jam-packed. So lots and lots of gorgeous yarns, lots of indie dyers. There was also, in the community centre, there was also the cupcake people set up. Oh my word, what were they called? I actually put something on Instagram yesterday about them. Can't think. I'll put it under here. So they were the caterers for the day, and they had teas and coffee and lots of buns, and they had these cute buns with the Yarnfolk on. I'll put a picture here. So, and there I picked up my wristband. Oh, I'm so scabby, I haven't even cut it off yet. I've washed. And I picked up my programme. So, yeah, so the entrance fee was £6, and it'll give you access to all the venues, and under 16s went free. If you did a workshop, and there were loads and loads of workshops on offer actually, then you could get into the festival for free. The festival was actually part kind of in conjunction with the Whitehead Food and Folk Festival, which goes on every year as well. So there was lots of things going on in the area, lots and lots of things going on in the area. So went in there, had a look round, spoke to lots and lots of people, met loads of people. Before I got in, I'd actually been collared outside by people that had driven past and gone, Laura, kind of thing. And I'd met Evie outside as well. So kind of went in, had a good look around, spoke to lots of people. I was speaking to people here and trying really hard not to look down. So that I wasn't like, I have to have that, and I have to have that, and I have to have that. So, and one of the things I did, it was really good actually. So on the day there were these little make and takes that you could do. Sorry for the rattling, but one of them was this great lady actually you could make stitch markers. So let me just have a look. Meadow Park beading, and it was Anne, So this is Anne's business card, and I made these. Can you see them? How cool are they? So they're progress keepers. So I sat down and I made 3 of those, and we had a good old chat, me and Anne and I. And I then went over and I spoke to the other side of the hall. So what I'll do is I'll put in all the pictures here now for you to have a look at of the community centre. Okay, so we're back because hopefully that's worked and I've put in all the stuff from the community centre. So then I went over to the Methodist Church and met some more people actually in there that I've been talking to online for quite a while now. Dermot was in there from Twist Yarns, who our paths seem to cross quite a lot. He was telling me a really funny story about how he's one of his current favourite things is to sit on the floor and surrounded by mini skeins and make up these great packs of sets of mini skeins that he's doing at the moment for kits, which are really, really lovely. And he was saying that at the moment one of his favourite things is sit on the floor surrounded by these mini skeins, and he just feels like a kid in the candy shop. But I know he's got a new baby, and I was saying that's all well and good until your baby starts crawling. We'll see how much fun it is then. One in the eye to you, trust me, it won't be so much fun then, Dermot. So yeah, what I'll do is I will put in some pictures here of everybody in that hall so that you can have a look. There was one lady in that hall who I didn't manage to get to take a photo of because she was actually off doing teaching one of the workshops, and that was the lady from Wee Small Yarns, I think. Got to look down here. So she was there. I want you to know she was there. But yeah, it was my fault. We just kind of missed each other, and I didn't get a chance to go back. So, but I took photos of everybody else in there. So hello, everybody else. So put the photos of those here now. So I've done 2 of the venues now. So we've done the community centre and we've done the Methodist Church. So next up was the Parochial St. Patrick's Parochial Hall. So in there, they all 3 of these venues so far were packed to the gills with vendors and lots of people. really good lighting. Actually, it's one of the things that I should mention. I want to tell you about is that the lighting was really, really good, so that you could really see the colours. Sometimes I've been to yarn festivals and they seem a bit dark, and that's, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes the organisers have no choice but to pick those places because that's all they can get, or they seem the most appropriate. But yet the lighting was fantastic, so you could see everything. So I kind of went around and chatted to everybody in the Parochial Hall. Gabriella and Carlo were there from Irish Fairy Tales, who I think at this stage I know quite well, so we were kind of chatting a little bit. Fiona from Green Elephant Yarn, who's another lady from down my neck of the woods, was in the community centre, so I'd been chatting to her. After the Parochial Hall, I'm trying to think what else was going on. Really, really well set out. There was space because it was over the 3 different venues. There was lots of space. So I'll put all of the pictures for the Parochial Hall in here now. So after that, I'm not going to lie, I was feeling a little bit, I think I was fine. I was still, at the start of the day, I was kind of running on excitement, but kind of after the 3 big venues, I was like, time for tea, time for something to eat, and preferably with some cake. So I went off, I pootled on off, and I found a little cafe. I can't actually remember what it was called. No, I can't, but it was down by the train station. So I went in there. They were jam-packed, to be honest, but I managed to get a cup of tea and some eggs on toast, and I indulged in a spot of carrot cake. And I met a few lovely ladies in there actually that I was chatting away to about, because they were so busy, I was waiting a little while for my food, so I just got my knitting out. I just figured, you know what, if I'm here, I'm going to knit. And a couple of people had spotted that I was knitting differently. So I was explaining about Portuguese knitting and how for me it works quite well. So I got a few rows of knitting in, had something to eat before heading up to Lighthouse Yarns. So Lighthouse Yarns is a lovely shop, and I say that with all sincerity, having had a yarn shop myself. I suspect I didn't get a huge amount of time to speak to Louise, but I suspect we're probably of a similar ilk as to what you should have in a yarn shop. I thought the range of stock was really, really good variety. In my opinion, a good yarn shop, and only in my opinion, you need yarn that suits everyone's budget. Knitting, like any craft, there should be something there for everybody, for everybody's budget, for everybody's tastes, within reason, because ultimately it's a business and you have to be able to sell what you stock. So whilst it would be great to fill your yarn shop to the rafters with stuff that only you like, that's not practical. And you need different things for different people. So there was a really, really good range of yarns. To be honest, by the time I'd got there in the afternoon, it had been ransacked. There were empty shelves, which is always a good sign, especially at this time of year. I don't want to bang on about supporting local, but I do really think it's important. Whilst it's great to be able to buy yarn online, and it really is, and I do and always have bought a certain amount of yarn online, even when I had my own shop. So I do think there's nothing like going in, feeling it, seeing it, being able to just get that knowledge that a lot of yarn shop owners have. I hope I had that. I hope I still have that. You know, the idea about colours, interplaying with colours, just having somebody else's opinion. I don't think Now I know that there isn't anything better than that. I know that if you find a yarn shop that you like, that you feel comfortable in, no matter how many miles away it is from your house, it's worth a visit there. It might be that you only get there every 2 months or every 3 months, but yeah, you know, your sale is important. Your purchases are important to that person that owns that shop. You are effectively going into an extension of their home, because an independent shop owner, any independent shop owner, that's an extension of them. Do you know? We want to keep our yarn shops in business, and Lighthouse Yarns is a great place. Really, really good place. So I, at this point, had realised that I hadn't really bought anything. I'd picked up a couple of things on the way round. I hadn't picked up any yarn because, as I said, I didn't really know what to buy. Now, I might be wrong, but I don't recall spotting any one-offs for the festival. If I'm wrong, vendors that were there, please tell me, or people that were there, please tell me, because if there's anything left that was a one-off for the show, I would really like to buy it. Particularly if it's in the form of sock yarn, because I would like a pair of Yarnfolk socks, to knit a pair of Yarnfolk socks. So if anybody watching this knows that there was one of the dyers doing a special Yarnfolk colourway that I missed, will you let me know? Please let me know. So some of the things I did pick up, I picked up, let me see, so I picked up this. There was a lady there, oh, I think her name was Shelley. I've managed to lose her business card, and actually I'd even said this to her, I couldn't find her name on anything online. I think it was Shelley, maybe I'm wrong, but she's the lady from Love Creative Therapy, and she does all of these lovely, she had some gorgeous handbags and needle holders and things like that, but I spotted this, which is just a little change purse, but I've been after a little change purse for quite a while. Actually, I'm not going to use it for change. Despite having a full face on all the time, you will probably never see me without my makeup on. I usually only carry around my compact powder and my lipstick, and this is the perfect size for my compact and my lipstick. So, and look at this lining, isn't it fab? So if I remember rightly, most of the stuff is made either from a lot of McGee tweed, a lot of Harris tweed, and another one that I can't remember. But you get the gist. And this was called into me. I picked this up, and I picked up a blue one, and I was chatting away, and I was saying, normally I'm the blue. Something about this made me kept going back to this one. I can see something like this in my childhood. I don't know if it was a kilt, because I used to have a thing about kilts, or if it was a blanket. It might have been a coat. I can distinctly remember I had a coat, like a I don't know what they were called, but they were like a big kind of tweed fabric, and then they had fur on the inside, like fake fur on the inside, and I lived and died in it. And actually I'd love one now. I'm kind of stuck in the 80s. In case you hadn't twigged, I'm kind of stuck in the 80s. If you've seen me in person, you've probably twigged. I've got short peroxide hair. I wear my jeans turned up. I live and die in baggy jumpers or smocks. Yeah. You know, I haven't kind of shifted. I shifted out of the 80s for a while, for a few years, and I just wore 50s clothes and stuff like that. But now I'm firmly back in the 80s. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's that. I would love one of those coats. I saw one in French Connection last December, and I was like, oh yeah, they're trendy, I don't want them now. Yeah, so I picked this up, and that's going to live in my handbag. So that's my new lipstick and powder compact holder. But yeah, I was very tempted to get a few other bits and pieces there, so I picked that up. What else did I pick up? Oh, I know what I did pick up. I've got a few bits and pieces here. So there was, I'm trying to think. Carlo and Gabriella had Fibre on their stand. Irish Fairy Tales, they had Fibre on their stand. But and to be fair, I've used quite a bit of Irish Fairy Tales Yarns Fibre. I fancied something a little different. I've actually still got one Fibre top upstairs, I think, to use up. a Shetland, I think. So I'll get around to that soon. So I was chatting away to Kay on the Loopy Kate Fibre, and I spotted these. I hope you can see because I think the light's okay. So I spotted these. Look at those colours. Aren't they fab? So these are, I have to hold them away from my eyes. I've got to that stage now. Yeah. I just think it was hilarious. I'm digressing again. I just think it was hilarious. I used to have people that came in the shop and did this a lot. I've turned into one of those people. Oh God, yeah, mocking is catching. So, yeah, so these are hand-dyed fibres by Loopy Kate. And these ones are 100% Norwegian tops. The base is grey, which is why they've got that lovely muted colourway going on. And let's just have a look. So, a classic felt maker's wool that gives a good hard-wearing fabric suitable for such items as felt, slippers or bags. It takes slightly longer to felt, but produces a tough surface product. For spinners, it gives a good handle and a robust finish. The grey base gives a richer, more supple colours. So, yeah, I have to say I really, really like those. Yeah, the colourways don't seem to have names. No, they don't. But yeah, aren't they fab? Yeah. Something a little bit different from me, a bit more autumnal. And I do think I have some plain grey Shetland upstairs that I think I bought from Wonderwool. So it might be nice to kind of mix a little bit of that in. I don't know, I'll see. But I thought I'd get that and treat myself to a little bit of fibre. Which again, I shouldn't have done. Yeah, not a good thing. So then in Lighthouse Yarns, I was having a nose around, and again I was kind of like, yeah, a bit like a kid in the candy shop. So I wasn't too sure what to get, so I grabbed these lovely sheets of handmade wool felt. So they're 100% pure wool felt, which, to be honest, I needed some, and I didn't really want to, I need them for a project. I have something in mind, and I didn't really want to be making them myself. So that's actually blue. It looks purple. It's blue. Joanna, it's blue. It's not purple. I haven't gone mad. So yeah, so I picked those up. They were lovely. And I also grabbed this. I have never used this. I used to stock Adrofil in the shop, and funny enough, I have never used this. Is it Azura? But it's a 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide. Hold on, have I got two different ones? Duh. So I've got Calza socks, that one, and I've got the Azura. And the Azura actually has 30% acrylic, 70% wool. So, do you know, I just thought they might be good for calves, heels and toes. That orange is really blowing out. Think Jaffa orange, and that's right. And I don't actually have any orange sock wool, so I thought that would be really good. And then my last, I've got fibre up my nose. My last naughty purchases of the day, I actually bought a few things at Faye's stall. Yeah, so I went to Faye's stall, and I made a beeline straight away for the blocking pins, because I've been after these for a while. I've been looking at these for a while. So Faye does 3 different sizes of blocking pins, and they're enamel pins, so they won't rust. And so I got the, let me think, so the size 7 are the jumbos, and therefore if you want to block something really, really seriously, or if it's a big chunky knit or crochet. And then I got some size 4s, which are like the in-betweens, and then there was another size which were for, or which are for lace. I don't do a lot of lace at the moment. I think I probably will eventually get them, but at the moment I didn't pick them up. I just love the packaging. I love that whole kind of craft envelope and the packaging. There, let me just see if I can open them while I'm talking to you. So Faye has loads and loads of lovely little bits and pieces. You could kind of pick up a few. You could pick up loads, to be fair, and I did. Cards for knitters and crocheters, bags for people that knit and crochet. Yeah, I could have got quite quite obsessed, to be fair. Let's just show you. So these are the jumbo pins, but you'll get the idea there. So they really are big, big jumbo pins. So probably should put that back in the little envelope, in the little wax envelope that came with them, because I don't think I'd want to tread on that. Can you imagine that? I've got carpet on this floor. It's bad enough if we're doing any dressmaking, we tend to lay out on the floor. The amount of times I've got caught. And then the other thing I picked up from Faye that I've been looking at was Faye has these organic wool wash bars. And I've been looking at them online. And yeah, so this one is grapefruit with lanolin. Oh, it just smells so... Yeah, you would know this was grapefruit, without a doubt. And Faye had lots of little samples. I think there are like maybe 5 or 6 different scents. I was going to say flavours. Scents. I know there's a lavender. There was like a sweet orange. A gingerbread. An unscented. I think there was one more, but I can't remember what it was. And I'd been looking at them. At the moment I use Olann, and I have some soak left as well. But I wanted something that was going to hold its scent a little bit longer. So I thought I'd give this a go. And Faye had some little samples of knitted flowers that she'd washed in all of the different soaps. And yeah, the scent was incredible off of them. So I'm looking forward to giving this a go. I have some socks to wash, so I'm going to give this a go and I'll tell you how I get on. So that was the extent of my purchases. I'm lying, I bought one more thing. It's over there on my desk. Give me a minute, I'm just going to pause this and I'll go and get it. So the last thing I can show you, because obviously there were a few other bits and pieces, is this. And I always forget what they're called. You can see what it is anyway. Doesn't matter what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But it's a hand-turned, whatever it is. It's a cake holder, yarn holder, whatever. It rotates. So when you're pulling off your yarn, you see? Or if you're like me, you just want to play with it. So your yarn cake just slides over like this. There was a gorgeous one. There was a couple of them, but by the time I went back for it, there was a gorgeous one with an acorn carved at the top. And I really, really liked it. It was just much bigger than this, and I just thought for what I was after, I kind of want something that I can take with me when I go to knitting group or when I go to meet my mates, and my yarn is just there. It's easier. But the good thing about these is, that's what I was going to do, was I was going to show you the card. So this is the card. So it's Soft Dash Wood Crafts. And this on the bottom, so look on the bottom, it tells you a few details about it. So it says recycled French oak flooring, Ballyclare, GMC Allen, so that must be the gentleman that makes them, I would assume. And this was made on the 13th of the 7th, 17. So you wouldn't want to be superstitious, would you? So it's the 13th of July this year. And I just think it's gorgeous. Just the craftsmanship. I love wood. I grew up around wood. My dad was a joiner, and just, yeah, the smell of wood shavings is just fantastic. Yeah, brings back lovely memories, and I just love it. I think it's gorgeous. It's lovely and tactile. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So one of the things I didn't mention was the guests, if you like, or the workshops. So there were lots and lots of different workshops, as I've mentioned. One of the, how would I put it? One of the special people? Yeah. One of the show highlights. One of the show highlights. We'll call it that. One of the show highlights was it Marie Trainer? I need to make sure I say this properly, because let me just have a look. Let me see if I can find it. So the Clones Lace Crochet Workshop Masterclass, which was with Marie Trainer. So she's been crocheting Clones Lace since she first came to Clones from Amar in 1988. Came to Clones from Amar, yeah, in 1988. Clones Lace is an Irish crochet, and it was named after the town where it was marketed in the 19th century. So it would have been lovely to try and catch up with Marie while I was up there, but come 3, I'd kind of had enough, in the sense that I knew if I didn't get in the car and start driving, my journey home was going to be quite a tough one. So I was like, enough now. It's 3:30. I've walked myself to death. If I stay here any longer, I'm not going to want to leave, so I'm going to have to go. So I left and I went home. One of the other highlights of the festival was Carol Feller had designed a shawl for the festival. Let me just see if I can find you the picture. Hopefully you can see that. So, and this was designed especially for the Yarnfolk show. The pattern is available in the program. I'm not sure if it's going to be released separately. I might try and find that. I'll try and find that out, and if I can find out any information, I'll put a slide in here for you. But it's a very large shawl. It's been designed to use Carol's yarn, so it's been designed for the newer yarn, which you might remember a few episodes back I showed you a hang of it that my son had bought me. So it's designed for the newer yarn, and it takes 7 skeins, so it is quite a large shawl, because the newer has 140 meters per 50-gram hang, and it takes 7. So the yardage is 980 meters. So yeah, I mean, you can see from that it is quite a big skein. I'm scratching my nose behind the book. So it's quite a big skein, a big shawl. And they had a cast on yesterday, like a special cast on for their knit along. So I imagine you can join up. I can't see why you can't join up. There is a Yarnfolk Ravelry Group, so maybe pop along to that and see, find out some more information. And if you wanted to get a hold of the pattern, and I haven't been able to track down any information, you might be able to find out from there. So hopefully that'll be, so yes, as I say, 3:30, around 3:30 I kind of said my goodbyes and I headed back, and I managed, I think I got home by about kind of 8:30. So yeah, it was definitely worth the effort, and fingers crossed there will be another festival next year. And I would advise anyone that likes the smell of yarn or the look of colour to go up and have a look. And I'm hoping that I've managed to load up all of the pictures and give some kind of a voiceover to all of the pictures to try and make them make sense. And I'll see you again very soon with Deirdre. Take care. Bye bye.